All right, dude. So I'm having this thought the other day about how crazy horse racing is. Um, One, especially now that we like freak out over like, oh, this butter was made like next to a chicken and like in the same city as a cow. Like I can't eat it. Like all that bullshit. And nobody will eat anything that like harms an animal or hurts anybody's feelings or anything like that. So we still do horse racing, which is just fucking crazy that we ride them around. They get the shit kicked out of them. Half of them like get killed because they like break a leg or something. Um, so I got to thinking, what other animals would it be kind of tight if we just substituted them for horses? So instead of the Kentucky Derby being just a shitload of horses running around with jockeys, it's a shitload of rhinoceros. Rhinoceri?
Probably.
That sounds way cooler. It should definitely be that. Uh,
Rhinoceroses?
yeah, I think rhinoceri sounds like super cool.
I think you're supposed to just shorten it to rhinos.
I don't think so. I think that was invented when people started getting stupid.
It was invented when people started getting efficient.
Maybe. I don't know.
Um,
Uh,
okay, okay, that's a really cool idea, but before we jump into that, so the horses get like the shit kicked out of them like during they just get like beat like for their whole lives, but then
mhm.
like when they do break their leg, all they do is just breed them until they die.
Yeah, but a lot of times they have to kill the horses because of injuries.
Yeah,
Like,
but they'll breed. I don't they try to breed them first though because they like want to get those
oh,
genes?
oh, that's way better. They suck your sperm out when you're dying, then you die. That's way better.
No, dude, you get
Because then
to
they can like read about it on Facebook and
they
stuff
just
about
get to
their
bring it
kids.
all. They just bring in all the female horses, and then they just like have a bang fest.
Oh, that's not how it works.
Wait,
But
what?
yeah, that's not how it works. They
All
like
right.
I'm pretty sure all those horses, I feel like they artificially inseminate them. Don't, do
Uh,
you
yeah, I
remember when
think
do
that they do too.
you
I've
remember
seen
when
like
Tom
in
Green
like
did that?
yeah, I was gonna say like in Jackass, didn't they do that? But it might have been Tom Green instead.
I mean, everything they did in Jackass, Tom Green did first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, well, yeah, that's a pretty cool premise. Because I think there's a lot of animals that would be way cooler than horses.
Yeah, horses are the most boring.
The horses can't even like fight each other.
I mean, just imagine if it was like something that ran on all fours but really low to the ground, like even if it was like a fast moving crocodile and you had to lay down and
They're
that
pretty fast.
you were riding it like laying down, like just
Yeah,
change the aspect of it, or you had to stand on it like a surfboard, and that was how horse racing went. What?
that's impossible. That would
It's
be
so
great. That would be insane.
I mean, it's a billion times better than little people riding horses in colorful uniforms.
If
Like
the
what other?
jockeys were surfing the gators around the rink, that would be nuts.
Oh, it'd be awesome. It would be
Yeah,
super.
so I think like initially, I think like a cool animal to watch just because I think I like watching them run is like ostriches.
Yeah,
Like
that would be awesome.
they run so fast, their legs are so gangly and long, and just like consider like a little jockey sitting on the back of an ostrich holding onto its neck, just flying
Mhm.
around that thing. That would be pretty cool too. I would be somewhat interested in that.
Hey, and you know what else is we should just have a podcast one day where we just fix horse racing maybe, but why don't they fuck with the
Horse racing
track?
is fixed.
No, yeah, I want it like we want to make it better,
Yeah, we're
not
gonna prove
not
it.
rig it. Dude, like do you remember the game? And I don't know if you used to play this, but on regular Nintendo there was the game Excite Bike where you used to very rudimentary, but you would build your own dirt bike path. So there would be straight ones, there would be hills, there would be little table things. Like, why is there not one hill for the horse to go over on the track? How much fucking more interesting would it be just a bunch of them having to go up and then fucking go down. Some of them fucking slide down on their ass. Like any little thing, a moat to jump over.
Or like the little gates that they jump over when they do like show horses.
Anything, anything would make it better. Like
Yeah.
ostriches would be pretty cool though, because I feel like watching people ride them would be even more hilarious than watching them run.
Oh,
They
for
would,
sure.
yeah. Those
Yeah,
are
that's
like
awesome.
they're like the closest thing to dinosaurs I think we have going, outside of like shit in the ocean that look like fucking dinosaurs. Like
Yeah, I mean
those,
they kind of look like dinosaurs, and didn't weren't like dinosaurs like a lot like don't they like come from or like related to the
yeah,
birds?
yeah. They
Yeah.
had feathers. Yeah,
Yeah, feathers, beaks,
yeah. It's crazy. You could
webbed
probably,
feet.
yeah, webbed feet, the whole thing. Yeah. I mean, they did all have eggs. If you think about it, like how stupid
Yep.
were we forever to not think they were birds when they're like laying eggs and there's a bunch of them that fly.
But like reptiles lay eggs too.
Yeah, I know, but dinosaurs, they're pretty much birds. They're
They sure
essentially
look
just
they sure
chickens.
look a lot like big reptiles too, though.
Some of them look like birds.
Oh, I know. Yeah, no, it's like a combo. It's like if a iguana and a chickadee had a baby, it would just be a dinosaur baby.
Yeah, do you know what's crazy? And we'll get the show started here in a minute, but when we like learned about dinosaurs, like nobody knew what the fuck they were doing. Like nobody knew what was real and they didn't even know what they were teaching. Like the only shit I learned about dinosaurs were some like TV shows and movies, I think. Like think about this. How many species, if you think about it as a fucking adult right now, how many species do you think of dinosaurs there were that could fly?
I mean, so we like pterodactyl one, but
Yeah,
there's
but
probably
there's probably
there's a lot.
10,000.
Yeah.
Think of how many bird species there are. There's hundreds of thousands of different kinds of birds, and we know one that flies because it was in movies and TV shows.
Yeah. Miles Garrett probably knows so many though.
Yeah, dude, we should get Miles on and ask him a couple
Yeah.
dinosaur questions.
Next time we have Miles on the show, we'll ask him to name as many species of dinosaurs that can fly
Yeah,
in like a 20-second window. We'll just see how he does.
but if he just rattled, ba 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 ba.
He might be able to.
All right, let's get this thing started, man.
Ready to go. Welcome, everybody. This is the Asshole Podcasserole, episode 8. We're back with you, Rowdy Potty Piper, Jesse the Potty Ventura. We're ready to spew some venom on this episode.
Yes, sir.
So we were just talking. I kind of don't want to stop talking about it yet. I'm like kind of intrigued by this animal swap race. So what else? I mean, rhinos would be very sick because they could just like quickly turn and horn the one next to them, cause some real damage during the race.
I think ones that where the animal is a little like I think for me the funniest one would be like a gorilla because it would look like a big hairy person and it's not like you would ride it. It would not give a shit what you want to do. It'd pick you up by the hair on your skull and just drag you and just run as fast as it could or throw you over its shoulder and just fucking run. And it would be so funny looking. It would be just like a big person kidnapping a human and running with it. And then you would cross the finish line and the guy would be like, yeah, we won. But
he did nothing the entire time.
Scary, dude.
Those silverback gorillas have that nice little like arched back though for like a nice little built-in saddle for a human to try to sit in.
Never let you ride them.
Okay, I could ride one.
I don't think silverbacks are crazy, but like the chimpanzees are fucking insane.
Silverbacks are very aggressive though too.
Dude, not like these chimpanzees. They literally will rip your penis off and they will fucking just throw it and then just step on it and then fucking eat it and then fucking beat you down and then rip all your limbs off. Like they're the craziest fucking animals.
I think a silverback gorilla would rip your limbs off too.
I think so, but he wouldn't start with your dick, which is what chimpanzees are known to do. That's not a false thing. Yeah, it's a real thing. And it's a real scary thing when you think of that. What else? What if, oh, dude, you know what we've never done, even thought about, and not just us, but people? Why aren't we like riding fucking fish in the ocean and racing on those? There's stupid boat races. There's dumbass surfing competitions. Think if the dude was just riding the back of a tiger shark and just holding onto its fin.
Yeah, with like full scuba gear or just like holding their breath.
Hold his breath probably.
Yeah, little snorkel. Give him a snorkel maybe.
The shark would come up for air every couple seconds for him.
Nice.
Yeah. Any other ones you want to throw out? Any other good racing?
Oh man,
racing fucking sucks unless you make it like interesting like this. Like all racing kind of sucks. NASCAR.
I have zero interest in watching almost any race.
Mm-hmm. Unless it's like a French motorcyclist, then we'll check in on that, right?
Oh yeah, French motorcyclist, Netherlands, like drag car rallies, cars. Yeah, I mean that stuff's all real dope. But like, if you just throw somebody in a circle and just say, "All right, Mario Kart," what was the little circle in the Double Dash? It was called just like a baby.
Oh, yeah. Baby
just
Mario
a circle.
track.
Yeah, and it's just like, oh man, can it be any? Can we make a right hand turn ever? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it's crazy. Even like look at like video games is a perfect example. It's kind of a barometer for what people think is entertaining, right? Like there's no video games where you go to a library and read books the whole day. That's why libraries, when you go in there, there's fucking nobody there except homeless people. So like the racing video games that have always done well never have a boring one track circle like a NASCAR race.
All right,
There's
something.
zero NASCAR games. And Mario Kart is like one of the most popular games ever. It's definitely the most popular racing game ever. And it's the craziest batshit thing ever. Why aren't we doing that in real life?
Yeah, that would be. I would watch something like that. I think that's what like our boy like Tim Cornell and Tom Cornell are doing though.
Yeah,
But
probably.
okay, so what would you? This could like spice up a little horse race a little bit, or any animal. Is if you sent something going the opposite direction that was coming at them fast that you had to like avoid as it was coming.
I mean,
Like
yeah, that's
like
crazy.
something running the opposite direction of the way that the horses are going. That would be.
Yeah, no, I
that would
understand what
be
opposite
very
means.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, what would it like? It would just be running, or would it be like
What if
trying
it was
to
like
fuck up
another?
the
What if it was
horses?
like? What if it was like a couple horses that are going the wrong way and they're trying to like run into the other horses, and like the other horses have to like juke and jive and like get
What about
around them?
this? What about this even? Same idea, except there's two races going on at the same time, the opposite
Yep.
direction on the tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you might,
Yeah.
dude, and what if you had a corresponding teammate going the other way? So let's say it's five guys going this way, five guys going the other way. You have partners. So your partner's going the one way, you're going the other. So you can jack the other guys off the horse to try and help your buddy while he's racing his race.
Very cool. What if you had to like maybe like have a baton that you could like you have to like transfer at some points. You have to like kind of toss it and time it up a little bit like as you're passing each other. Oh,
I like
there's a lot of possibilities here.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like when like in Hard Knocks when Bob Wiley was I mean kind of related but kind of not. But when Bob Wiley was like just preaching to the players that they need to be like silverback,
Oh, yeah.
gorillas or
Rhinos.
yeah,
Oh.
that's like a cool concept. I think that like what if they just started replacing players with actual animals?
Oh, I like that. So like you could have your quarterback be a giraffe if you wanted.
I mean, I'm not sure a giraffe would be very good, but like yes, you could. What if you could do that?
It would be awesome.
What? Okay. So obviously, we're not replacing Baker Mayfield with anything. However, in a scenario where you don't have the best quarterback in the NFL,
Yeah.
what's the best animal that you think you would replace a quarterback with that would be able to perform?
Okay. Hold on one second. Can I go back to the giraffe for a second? How long
Sure.
do you think the average giraffe neck is?
I have no idea.
I bet you it's more.
Like 10 feet?
Okay. Yeah, that was kind of what I was thinking. 10, maybe 12 feet. So in this scenario, a giraffe would be a really good like tailback because if your quarterback gets him the ball and gets it up to his mouth, all he's got to do is just lay his head down for like almost half of the first down. That's the play every time. Every time you get inside the 10, it's just two neck laydowns and then you're in.
A giraffe would be very good
You
at
never get
quarterback
the ball from him.
tailback if you're on the goal line. But like how do you get to the goal line though?
You get 4 yards every neck laydown all the way down the field. It's
But
not exciting.
you start very far. You start far in the backfield though.
No. He would be like 2 yards. He'd be like right next to a quarterback under center.
So just
And
the
then
quarterback takes
quarterback,
it,
quarterback
throws
goes,
it up.
hook, and pops
The
it up.
giraffe grabs it with his mouth and then just leans
and
his
it
head
lays
forward.
down. I mean, he could take 3 steps. It's still a fucking giraffe. It's not like he can't move. It's not stuck. He could take 3 steps and then lay down.
Yeah.
It's a minimum.
Do you think a giraffe could even catch the ball with its mouth though?
Dude, don't fucking blaspheme giraffes on this
Just
podcast.
wondering.
Of course it could, bro.
Yeah. No, I just don't know how like coordinated their mouth / ability to catch footballs would be.
Dude, well, it's not like their eyes are down by their feet, dude. Their eyes are right by their head.
I'm well aware of that though, but like if you just spend all day, all you have to do is just like graze slowly and just grab some leaves off some trees. Like, what about in like a aggressive situation where your people are trying to kill you?
All right. I don't think you've ever seen a giraffe in your life besides a picture, and probably at Toys R Us. Let me tell you about a giraffe. Dude, a giraffe doesn't just like fucking go up in a tree and just bounce its head around looking for a leaf, dude. It is like, oh, there's a leaf. Honk, got it.
Absolutely does.
Honk, got it. No, dude, it's not fumbling around like a blind man in a grocery store. It's fucking go up, got it. Hup up, got it. Hup, got it. Right off the tree.
Okay. So what do you think is all right, so from a tailback perspective, you think a giraffe, given your little loophole that you just tried to find, would be better than like
no,
freaking grizzly bear?
No, I don't think it would be anywhere even
That
near
could
the
just
top.
run.
I just didn't like you writing off giraffes right away.
Well, first of all, we were talking about them as quarterback, and I said that's the only thing that a giraffe has at quarterback is that it can see over the offensive line. That's the only thing that's good. It can't throw. It's not going to do anything spectacular.
I have a real question, and this might be really stupid, but you know when you're playing backyard football and somebody's like the center but not really, and they don't go down in the 3-point stance and snap the ball, they kind of stand to the side of it and just toss it up to you. Is that a legal snap?
I don't think so.
Are you sure they don't just do it because you would get barreled over?
I don't know. I mean, no, I don't know. There's so many rules in football that I wouldn't be able to answer the question, even though I've been watching it for 30 years.
Yeah. If you could just get that ball up to him immediately, then yeah. But anyways, running backs.
You can direct snap it up to him, though. You can snap it under your legs and still direct snap it up to him. They have specialists that Charlie Hewlett on the Cleveland Browns could for sure snap that into a giraffe's mouth.
He would have to get it straight up from his butt. That would be so hard.
Or the giraffe can lower its head. It can put it all the way down to the ground.
I know that, but if it lowered, that's the whole point. You have to understand. You've never seen a real giraffe. Now, hold on. Is a giraffe? If he lowers his head, he has to back up his feet to get his head down where the quarterback's hands would be.
Why can't it just start with the feet back?
Because then he'd have to because then his head would only go down to where he got the ball from. Do you not understand that? He would have to move forward to get his neck to go past line of scrimmage. His neck extended down to get the snap is as far as his neck's going.
Right, I'm out on this giraffe talk. This is the worst. The giraffe would not be good at any sport other than maybe basketball.
That is someone who's never seen a giraffe in real life, ladies and gentlemen. But
I still don't even think that they'd be very good at basketball either.
What?
All right, would you rather have a giraffe as playing basketball or a brontosaurus?
Wait, our dinosaur?
Yeah.
I mean, the dinosaur for sure.
Yeah, dude, way longer. It's basically just a giraffe on steroids.
Yeah, even like, if you want to bring dinosaurs in, we could put a whole team together, but I think like a bear would be a really tough running back to make a tackle on because they have no knees. You'd have to get it on its back to make that tackle. Think about that for a second.
A bear would be amazing, but so would you rather have your bear as your quarterback or your running back? Or I mean, for what the Bears doing, it probably doesn't really matter. They're just taking a ball and running straight forward.
I would probably have him at running back. I want a decision maker at quarterback.
Okay, so who's a good decision maker for an animal?
I mean, let me get
back. Dolphin. Dolphins are smart.
Yeah, but come on, dude. We're not playing in the ocean.
We could.
We'll get back to that in a second. But the bear, like, think about that. That bear could run on 2 legs. It's not moving fast, but it could move, and it'd be hard to knock over. But as soon as you knock it, as long as it doesn't go directly back, it's going to land on those front 2 paws and be even harder to get down. There's no knees for that thing to hit. You couldn't get it down unless it went backwards on its back or it's running on all 4s and you fucking get it and roll it to its back. Think how hard that would be. Fucking 600-pound bear. You're never going to tackle it.
Yeah. No, I'm well aware of that.
You need like a predator on the other side that's going to like attack it and not worry about the tackle, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely need a defensive animal. You need a bear on the other side. You need something that could like mess it up. A pack of lions. Yeah.
Were we just talking, you and I, the other day about that honey badger fighting off the herd of lions for like 30 minutes?
No.
Oh my gosh. There's a video. It's just the whole entire time. It's like 5 lions trying to kill this honey badger, just one of them. And it is like the ballsiest, like drunk dude at the bar just holds them off for fucking half hour. And then finally they like 2 of them go at it at once and they realize like, oh, we can fuck this thing up. And they finally kill it.
Wow.
Yeah, Honey Badger would be very, very awesome on defense, I feel like.
Honey Badger would be very awesome on defense at safety for the Houston Texans.
Yeah, it would be good. Or for the Cleveland Browns if we can get him. I would love that.
I would like that. I would like that. I've always loved Tyrann Mathieu.
I essentially think, and I don't know, maybe he changed his hair, but at this point, I believe that every player who is of African American descent and has blonde hair is going to be on the Cleveland Browns in the next 2 years. So that includes Mathieu, that includes OBJ. Who's the other guy we were talking about the other day? They all have the same dope hairstyle, blonde on top.
I think we were just talking about Mathieu and OBJ.
Even just those two.
It was the Jedi conversation, which we are not getting into. Right
oh yeah. We'll save that for next episode. But who do you think would be a good quarterback? Because I am stuck on a decision maker who could still be able to deliver the ball to someone.
Yeah, I think it has to be some kind of a big primate. I think that's like your only option because that at least gives you the ability to throw the ball. You know, you need a thumb.
Yeah. I mean,
gorilla would be tight. I mean, a big ass gorilla can take a ball, can hand it off, throw it. I don't know about their decision-making skills though.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like they're not that much lower than us, at least some people. But
yeah, you.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, obviously, we would want, just for the sake of the argument, we'd want somebody that could throw the ball. But obviously, there's some animals you could throw back there, and just Tim Tebow for like a whole NFL game, and just
realistically, if you think you had an entire team of gorillas, the big ass silverback gorillas,
the things you're obsessed with and won't stop talking about,
if you had a team of them, a starting 11, do you think that they would absolutely dominate an NFL team?
Oh, without
going against
question. Them? I mean, it would take so little.
I mean, intelligence has to be in consideration too.
No. That's. Oh, really? Obviously, dude.
It's our one advantage, dude.
Yeah, I know, but what I'm saying is that advantage also hurts us because they're going to have a trainer that it's going to be so simple to train them to. If you take this ball and get it over there, you get a treat, you know? Like, they don't have touchdown celebrations. They just run over to the trainer and they get, like, a banana or, like, a treat.
How many penalties they would have, though?
Probably 0.
No, so many penalties. It would just be nonstop not following the rules.
Dude, what if the referees were actual zebras, though? So
that is so dope.
The NFL team is a defense, the offense is gorillas, and the referees are all zebras.
Yeah, so if the referees don't even know what the rules are, then the gorillas are going to win 50-0.
Yeah. What kind of penalties do you think they would get? Because I don't know.
Offsides. They wouldn't be able to stay standing in a place until the ball is snapped.
Those are the easy ones. No, that's easy because all they would have to do is they would just have barriers. Like
illegal hands to the face, illegal blocks, all that kind of stuff. There's so many rules. There's no way you'd ever be able to teach a gorilla.
Dude, you don't have to teach them those rules.
You have to teach them all the rules, dude.
Dude, half the NFL players don't even know the fucking rules. The only thing that would be hard to stop them from is personal fouls, I think, because once you let out that aggression for that 8 seconds of trying to tackle someone and then you have to stop and all the humans just relax, the gorillas are just going to fucking grab them by the shoulders and rip them off and just go psycho.
Ripping arms off is a penalty.
Yeah, but I don't think that it would be. What are you going to call?
You don't think that ripping?
Holding?
Okay, so if a gorilla ripped a person's arm off, you don't think that's a penalty?
What would they call if it was a human did it? If fucking Van Der Esch does it for the Cowboys this weekend, what would they call?
Unnecessary roughness.
Yeah, 15 yards, big deal.
Every time, every play.
Well, they only have 2 arms and 11 players, so it's only 22 of them.
2 legs and a head. So you think they're gonna just stop once they get 1 arm? They're gonna be like, okay, I'm good now. I got this arm.
Yeah. That's a good
point.
No,
they're going to tear you to shreds, and you're getting 15 yards every time.
If you had to, so this is our alternate universe here. The Browns are going into next year, and we don't have any draft picks. We have none. We only have 1 supplementary draft pick, okay? I'll explain that in a second. We cannot sign a free agent. We have to take this team in, but in that supplemental draft, it is all animals. You can draft 1 animal to play 1 position to improve the team for next year. What would it be?
Yeah, so I think they need a interior defensive lineman. So it's got to be something big that can just bust through a line immediately. So, I mean,
rhinos.
Silverback gorillas literally are the best of
course.
everything.
Yeah, of course.
What else?
Uh,
Elephant. Elephants probably aren't fast enough.
I would actually love to have in the middle of the defense, maybe even at middle line. But actually, you know what? I'd replace Jamie Collins with some sort of bear, probably a polar bear. They're like the most.
Yeah, bear would be good at D line too. I'm replacing Coley with one of those big animals that'll just run over. Maybe the gorilla would be tight because if you try to block him, he'll just rip your arms off.
Yeah, you know what would be cool is if the NFL was like, okay, I don't know why I was about to be like they should do this because like it would help my gorilla scenario, but in our scenario, if you played at Cleveland Brown Stadium, we would have like a yellow football or something. So like that's what our animal would know, you know. So like it'd be a disadvantage at other stadiums because we would have to train him and be like, yeah, it's kind of fucking tough. But at our house, he's just chasing that bright yellow football.
Why would you just train him with like the regular colored football so that you don't have to train him at every other?
I think it'd be easy. I'm just saying for his ease, dude. It's a fucking bear.
Oh, what about a bull? You could do a bull.
Yeah.
As like a D lineman, because like, are you blocking those horns coming right at you?
Yeah, that's why I like Rhino though.
Yeah, Rhino's good
with
too.
that horn.
The thing is, like, I was just having trouble with Rhino and Bull because, like, sure, you can bust through the line and get to the passer and like rush him out of the pocket, but like, how are you like sacking him though?
Yeah, so I actually have a
gorilla could do that.
An amendment. Yeah. Oh, a silverback one especially.
Silverbacks would be ideal.
Yeah, I think that I would change it, knowing that I'm not playing against other animals and it's 11 humans. I might take the honey badger and just play him at fucking D end anyways. Like nobody's gonna block a honey badger, and he's gonna eat your face off when he gets to the quarterback.
Oh, I'd block the shit out of a honey badger.
Oh, would you?
I would punt it as soon as it ran. I would just kick it. I would
Oh, cool.
Oh,
would
man.
you also fly to the moon and save the world there?
No, we don't have to do that.
Oh, cool. Yeah, you would get eaten so fast by a honey badger, dude.
You can't eat me. Unnecessary roughness. You have to follow the rules,
dude. This version of the NFL is a little different, but anyway, let's get outside the NFL for a second. Is there any other interesting animals or positions that animals could play?
Yeah, like what about, dude, let's do like a little baseball maybe. So who would be like the best like hitter? All right, picture this.
Hold on. If you say silverback gorilla, I'm turning it.
Okay, I'm not. Okay. Even though that would be a good one, but I'm afraid. I've hit my silverback quota for the day. I'm over the silverbacks now. What about underwater baseball?
Tight.
Underwater, hammerhead shark uses his hammer as the bat.
Okay, cool. But how does the ball move? Is it T-ball?
Underwater. No, it's somebody throws it to them, and it's like floating away to it. And then hammer, bang, out of the park.
You know what they would have to use? They would have to use those little rockets that you would glide underwater. You know those things? Because like a real ball, I hope you are aware.
Yeah. The little rockets that you can like throw and they go. Yeah, I used to have those in our pool when we would play.
You have that with like a softball on the end of it, maybe.
Okay, I'm surprised that you didn't call me out for the hammerhead shark because the hammer hitting a ball with a hammer would be the ball would be going directly into his eye hole.
Yeah, it's the dumbest thing ever. No. I was trying to.
You just felt bad, so you were just gonna pass over it.
Yeah, it was like you said unicorn, so I just pretended it didn't happen. But if it was real above water baseball, like the kind that actually exists, I think those chimpanzees and those gorillas would be. They're just so close to us. Well, these games. Not a silverback one though. These games are all. That's what we have to realize here. They're all designed for humans, and we are 1% away from having the same genes as a fucking gorilla. It's like it's absolutely insane. Yeah, that always freaks me out. Have you ever looked at that?
Oh,
like, hold on. We are so close to gorillas that like the next thing closest to them isn't even on the same scale. It's so far. Like they are this fucking close to us, and the thing that's closest to them is like way the fuck on the other side.
Yeah, super really coincidental that we're so close to primates when Adam and Eve obviously started this whole shebang. It's not like we evolved or anything.
Yeah, Adam and Eve for sure exist and are people and stuff, and that's all cool.
Okay, hold on. So out of water, no more
Yeah.
in water baseball. Out of water, is there any animal other than like primates that could throw a baseball like a pitcher?
Um,
I feel like no.
you know what I want to okay.
Okay, a giraffe might be able to put a baseball in its mouth and like throw its like neck, get like enough torque from its like neck to like let the ball go and maybe possibly be able to throw a baseball.
Dude, you've never seen a giraffe.
Definitely a brontosaurus.
You have never seen a giraffe.
Definitely a brontosaurus with that long ass neck.
All right, so wait, brontosaurus? I don't think you know your dinosaurs either, dude.
What is it?
The brontosaurus is the one with like the spikes and the long tail, right?
No, I think that's stegosaurus. That's stegosaurus.
No. Okay, well, regardless, I have one in my head.
I think brontosaurus is the one with the giraffe looking one.
The really tall with the neck.
Yeah, and like a labrontosaurus is like a perfect combo of a brontosaurus and LeBron James, and that's where if we start a basketball conversation, that's where we're at.
Labrontosaurus, that's a pretty good one.
Yeah, that came from friend of the show, my buddy Alex, though.
Oh, nice.
Give credit where credit's.
Do you know the dinosaur? Okay, sorry. It has a spiky back, like one of the villains of the Ninja Turtles, spiky little shell back, and then a really long tail, like a scorpion tail. That's what I thought you were getting at.
I know. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
And then whip that tail around and then chuck it.
But you can't hold it with the tail, though. That's why I like one with a long neck could be able to hold it with the mouth and then swing that neck around, release, create some torque.
Oh, I like it, but I don't. Okay.
I mean that's the only one other than primates that I can think of, unless you got something else cooked up.
The one I would like to see, and I think he really can only go in one place athletically, is the kangaroo, and I'm pretty sure it would be like a UFC fight because those things. I'm sure you've seen the
basketball
jacked male kangaroos. Yeah, I mean they can jump.
Oh
yeah.
They are muscle-roos.
Yeah, they are something out of this world. Like, if we are living in a matrix, that was like the dude who's running it came home from the bar at 2 a.m., like smoked a bowl and was like, let's see what they do if I just fucking put a jacked ass kangaroo out there. And everybody's like, oh, that's just how kangaroos are. That's how kangaroos are around here. And you're like, what? It looks like fucking Brock Lesnar. What the fuck, dude?
Yeah, they could definitely compete in the UFC.
Those don't look real. Yeah, the UFC.
Okay, so like, what about jacked Roo versus like an average UFC fighter in the octagon? Who wins?
What do you think that jacked Roo weighs? That's what we got to know. I'll look it up. I bet you that male one's probably like under 200, because the rest of them's not that big.
Yeah, but I feel like some of them are pretty big, and like the jacked ones would have a lot more weight because they're so muscly, though.
What do you think? Do they have a special thing that they're called, those jacked kangaroos?
Yeah, jackaroos.
Yeah, jackaroos. Okay.
Jackaroo.
Dude, there's no way. They're all under 100 pounds. I'm looking at
what?
Looking at
there's got to be some that are over 100 pounds.
Dude, I'm looking at 4 species. The red kangaroos.
Okay, look up the biggest kangaroo in the world, though.
Okay. Biggest kangaroo in the world. I like it.
Yeah.
Oh!
Bingo.
What a monster!
Bingo.
Large mature males can stand more than 5'9", with the largest confirmed one having been around 6'9", weighing 201 pounds.
6'9", 201.
Oh, and imagine how jacked he probably was, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I would love to meet that guy.
Yeah, and honestly, like, if that kangaroo doesn't want you getting close to it, it can use those feet, jump and kick, and it'll keep you away from it. And they punch, obviously.
Oh, yeah, and their kicks are, like, the most underrated thing about them, too.
Yeah.
You think it's like, it's like a little dog back leg. Like, fuck no, dude. That's like a horse kicking you. That's got...
They, like, jump. They, like, put both their feet, like...
Yeah,
dude, like, a lot of power with that. I actually think a Roo would be pretty tough in an octagon.
You call that move a missile drop kick in the business, by the way.
What do they call it in the WWE?
That's the business.
The Biz.
The Biz.
The Miz. Friend of the show, The Miz.
So, yeah. So... For sure, because I was thinking, like, I want to see, like, Khabib versus Kangaroo, because I don't think you've watched it. I've tried to get you to watch it before. Him as a child wrestle that grizzly, or I don't know if it's a grizzly bear. I think it's a brown bear. It's insane. But, dude, this thing the big 6'9" guy would tower over Conor McGregor, Khabib. Those fight at, like, 145. He would beat the shit out of Conor McGregor.
But like, dude, if Conor McGregor could like slip around, or especially Khabib, and get him in like a little rear naked choke, put him to sleep.
Dude, you would never be able. That's the crazy thing. I would love to see it, because think about what a kangaroo's normally trying to get out of. Its neck in the jaws of a fucking like lion out in the wilderness, and it's like slips out of that. You don't think he's gonna get out of a little rear naked choke?
Lions don't fuck with roos.
What? I wonder what their biggest predator is. Probably not lions, that's for sure.
Yeah, I don't. I think it's like not much. Yeah, dude. Okay, so speaking of roos, what about in like a basketball? Like, what about a dunk contest? Roo might be the number one contender.
Yeah, they could get up.
Because like obviously your boy Mr. Giraffe could dunk, but I mean not do anything cool with it.
Yeah, that wouldn't be cool.
LeBron-tosaurus would be pretty dope.
That wouldn't be cool at all. They can't even get up off the ground.
What if it had LeBron's face though?
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, kangaroo might be it. It might be a more of a dynamic athlete than we gave it credit for. It could be a two-sport athlete, UFC and basketball, because it would be the one that I think of that would have like the ups to do.
Yeah, exactly. All right. What about hockey? Let's do like hockey goalie. You got any for that?
I mean, all the big ones. Anything that's bigger than the goal. I know that's your move.
Yeah.
Yeah, you love that.
That's why hockey's so fucking stupid. Do you agree?
No, I don't agree.
What do you mean? How do you not agree with that? It's so dumb.
Because you told me a million times that you should hire a fucking sumo wrestler to be the goalie in hockey.
Precisely.
That's the dumbest idea ever.
No, big ass sumo, just get in front of that goal, cover it all up.
Here's what the equivalent of that is. That is somebody who's a hockey fan who doesn't watch the NFL saying to you, hey, why don't they just get sumo wrestlers for the offensive line instead of these small 290, 330-pound guys? Why don't they get
would
sumo
be good.
wrestlers?
Here's the thing. So sumo wrestlers would be very good on the offensive line, but it wouldn't completely ruin the sport. It wouldn't just solve the sport, like putting one in front of a goal and never being able to score in hockey.
You could still score.
No.
You could figure it out.
Not a fat enough one. Not Yokozuna, dude.
Dude, he was not a sumo wrestler. Take that back.
No, wait. Yokozuna, not WWF Yokozuna, man.
Oh, okay. That's the only one.
Real
that's
Yokozuna.
The only one that matters.
Real Yokozuna, not that stupid fake shit.
Yeah, that Samoan guy that they made pretend to be Japanese. How fucked up is that? You know that he's Samoan?
That's funny.
Yeah, he's not Asian, or that's not Asian. He's like like The Rock or
he didn't really look like a sumo.
No, not at all. Yeah, I mean that might break.
Just plop that elephant down in front of the hockey goal, and it's over. 0-0 is how both teams end the game.
The only reason that I know your stupid sumo thing is not true is because somebody would have done it.
No,
if it was a guarantee that nobody would score on you, a hockey team would do it.
No, because sumos are too they think being a sumo wrestler is by far the pinnacle of life.
It is.
So they wouldn't be willing to even though they'd make 10 times more money, they wouldn't be willing to do that because it's this is their culture. That's what matters to them.
Yeah, I mean, I get it.
They just can't convince a sumo to do it, so that's why it hasn't happened yet.
You don't think the fucking 250th shitty sumo would do it? Yeah.
Nope. They just want a sumo.
Seems like a pretty big hole in your story, bro.
The only thing that matters. Well, if I ever own a hockey team, which is something that I probably won't do just because hockey's stupid, I'll definitely get a sumo wrestler as my goalie. Yeah. Or an elephant. I might get an elephant. Well, I got to see what the rules say.
Yeah, we did. Before we end the animal conversation, we were talking jokingly about why would there be a rule that it has to be a human being? Of course they would make a rule if somebody tried to put an elephant on their team, but I guarantee there's no
rule book doesn't say it right now.
Yeah, there's no rule book that says no elephants or only humans. Yeah. So you could sign him and get him on the ice for a game. In my mind, because even if the NHL goes, whoa, it's a safety issue, you have fucking lawyers and appeals. You would be able to get him on the ice for one game.
One season maybe.
Oh, not a season. That would never happen. Once he played one game and
and It was impossible to score.
Well, no, his team scores and that blowhorn at the other end goes off and he just rams through the glass and starts fucking, running over people.
Could break the ice?
No.
Okay.
I mean, maybe if he started stomping.
Yeah, like what if he's like stomping around like a stampede?
But that's why I also think your theory wouldn't work. You're talking about
all you'd have to do is just put a mouse on the ice and just let it scare the elephant away from the goal.
Little mice on the ice, huh?
Yeah. Mice on the ice. I might make a kid's book, like a children's picture book with elephant playing hockey goalie and then some mice on the ice scaring it away.
You should copyright that right now because somebody's going to take that.
I just did.
Okay. Audio copyright there.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else in the animal kingdom you want to talk about?
We can't spend any more time on the animal kingdom, and we need to start talking about some real sports.
All right. Should we just move straight to dinosaurs then, if we're done with animals, or what?
We had a sprinkling of dinosaurs. I don't think we need to spend any more dino time either. Sorry, Miles.
All right. So, what want to get into?
Yeah, I really want to just talk about this Pittsburgh Steelers just meltdown that's going on right now, and just the demise of the once superpowers of the NFL.
You mean Cleveland Browns East? They're like doing what the Browns do every year, except we don't have the big names and talent.
Exactly.
Drama like this all the time. It's crazy.
This is a crazy story, dude.
Yes.
Antonio Brown is he's such a diva. I mean, I know that like a lot of receivers have just like gotten on this like prima donna kick, but like Antonio Brown is like, he just marches to the beat of his own drum.
I mean, I told you my theory on this, and I'll say it again. I think that when this whole nucleus got started, and not even this one, but like right when Tomlin got there, I don't think he ever had the respect of the old guys in the locker room, the James Harrisons, Lamar Woodleys, those, especially that defense that carried their fucking ass. And I think that when young people started to come in, especially people who started having success, they saw no reason to respect them. The old guys in the locker room, they were like, "Oh, this was Cowher's team. Like, you had nothing to do with this," you know? And so now these guys come in, and like, it's not a coincidence that the running back who essentially held out a whole season, and he was a top 3 running back, no questions asked, and now top 3 wide receiver, no questions asked, is about to get traded away from a Hall of Fame quarterback and a Hall of Fame organization. Like, that shit's not a coincidence, dude.
Yeah. I mean, you brought this up the other day when we were having some discussions, but it's absolutely bonkers that this team would go from having, arguably the best receiver, the best running back, one of the best quarterbacks, and like a very highly respected head coach, to beginning of the season 2020, legitimately not one of those 4 players is potentially going to be on the team anymore.
I think the odds are that all 3 are out and Tomlin's probably gone, because.
So I think Ben might be the only one left, because I think he still potentially could play in 2022.
I don't know about that.
Not 2022, but 2020 also.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think he'll stick around as long as he thinks he's still like a viable. But yeah, they all 4 could be not on the team in 2020. We could be looking at Mason Rudolph, James Conner, Juju, and who knows at head coach. Like, it's nuts.
Yeah. Can I say something really quick? We got 3 years to think about it, but in the year 2022, we should only say 2020 also. Just as a little inside joke. Yeah, I'm gonna sign checks 2020.
Yeah, definitely write that down so we remember. That's
it'll be at the front of my mind.
Definitely something we should spend time. Some time on.
I think that like you said, it's crazy to think that they could all 4 be gone. I think Roethlisberger, and I've been way more on this than you have. I really think
been saying this for 4 years.
I think he thinks about it every single year that he's going to retire.
I agree, but do you think that he actually has ever even really considered retirement?
Here's what I think happens. I think, and I will say this, at least the last 3 years, that there's been a point in his offseason between the last snap of the game and the first snap of the regular season where his scale, that's usually like this, play and retire, gets 51-49 the other way. There's a day, there's an hour. I think that the last 3 years, there's been a time where he has been ready to hang it up for the smallest amount of time, or maybe a week or 2 weeks, or who knows, some years. But I think he has thought about it and been like, I could retire right now every offseason the last 3 years.
So I'm more on board. Like, I don't disagree that like there might have been a day where he actually like was like, oh wow, I may actually retire this year. But I think most of that, and the fact that it comes up every offseason like clockwork, is because he just wants people talking about him. Yeah. And I'm just like, I'm over listening to Ben Roethlisberger say he's going to retire and then not actually be really considering it.
Yeah.
So what do you think is going to happen with this AB situation? Like, in your gut, is AB on that team week 1 of next year?
Yes, I think so. But like, a lot of that has to do with the idea, and we'll go over this in a minute. Like, I don't think there's as many options as people think, as far as, the combination of space, the need. Like, that's the other thing. You look down and, like, yes, he's amazing. But there's some GMs and some coaches that have young players that look at their receiving core and go, that doesn't help us, that hurts us. Even though he's that great of a player. And we have these young guys, and we drafted them, and we believe in them. And some of those teams are the teams with space. So you just kind of think, like, there's a few landing spots for him. And
yeah, I mean, he's got a bad attitude. So you can definitely see some people, especially if you have like a young core team like the Browns or something, where they potentially would be like, no, thank you, because you are going to poison the other people on this team.
Yeah.
I definitely think that's a thing. So let me just tell you though, because the moment this ABB traded conversation starts, it seems like everyone is dismissing it immediately because of everyone saying, $21 million dead cap hit, dead money on the cap next year. Like, why would you lose your best player and also take a $20 million hit? Like, that's another superstar you could have had on your team when like their window's not that long. But I read a story a couple days ago from Ed Bouchette. He's a Steeler beat writer. Cool. Yeah, bitch. But so he dove into the actual cap scenario, and I think it's super interesting because it's the only take that I've seen of this where it actually makes trading Antonio Brown a possibility. So apparently, NFL league year starts March 13th. Apparently, they owe Antonio Brown $2.5 million roster bonus March 18th. So they technically cannot trade him until March 13th. But at that point, they can start negotiating with teams. By March 18th, if he's still on the team, he gets that $2.5 million roster bonus, and at any point after that, he would affect their cap $21 million dead money. It's just absolutely not going to happen. Right. But that does create this 5-day window where they can actually save $15 million in cap space for next year by having him not on the team in that window before March 18th. So really, it would only be like the 21, net 15, so $6 million cap hit actually, which makes it very reasonable that they would be able to do something if they think he's truly, hey, we can't move forward with this guy.
Dude, this just popped into my head as you're talking about that possibility. So I see this going down, and it's going to be super fucking dramatic. It's going to come down to that week, obviously. And by that time, and I'm sure all NFL executives already know exactly what we're talking about. Obviously, they're doing their homework. But it's going to come down to it where, let's say I'm the San Francisco 49ers, okay? And I'm talking about trying to acquire Antonio Brown. How do I not tell Antonio Brown, hey, here's the deal. If you make yourself as cancerous, as poisonous as possible, where you are not possible, they cannot keep you on the team, they'll trade you to us in this window because they have the advantage of time. The 49ers are sitting there saying, if you wait till the 19th, dude, that's on you because this guy's not going to play for you and you don't want him to play for you and you don't want to owe him $21 million. So you better trade him in this window to us or sorry, like they're going to really be stuck with that decision of and he could reconcile, and they could be all cool, and then maybe they still talk out a trade. But if he wants to, he could be like, fuck this team, I'm never playing for you guys again. And then they put the Steelers in that bad spot where they don't have any advantage anymore. All they have is 5 days and a clock counting down to get rid of them.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they like. I just don't know the answer to this. I'm assuming the answer is yes, but can they negotiate with teams on a trade prior to the league year starting?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There's no there's not like a tampering like LeBron situation.
I don't think so, but isn't that when usually?
I think that's just like when you can actually make real trades. Like,
yeah,
when
does free agency start?
I think it's around that time.
Because I know that,
or like maybe a little bit before, but I think it's like right around there.
Yeah, because that window, I'm pretty sure you can agree to even deals and shit. Like, you know how when free agency starts, like, they're like, all right, free agency starts in 5 minutes. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, Amari Cooper signed with the Jaguars.
Yeah, they claim you're not allowed to do that, though. I think about that every single year where it's like,
they're allowed to.
You're like not supposed to be tampering. And then you hear about deals where like the agreed upon amount and years come out before the league year starts.
Yeah.
Like I think that every single year I'm like, okay, wait, if you're not allowed to be doing these kind of negotiations, how did you just come to an agreement within 20 seconds of the league year starting?
Yeah, that's always been in my head. So I feel like that's bullshit, and they can really talk about it whenever they want to, or at least you could have I mean, think about how easy it is to just have two agents meet. You know, every GM in the league has an agent. Say, hey, go meet with the agent for OBJ. Talk to him. See what he's thinking as far as money. You know, tell him here's our parameters. That's just two random dudes meeting. That has nothing to do with the football team. That's a personal agent. You know.
Do you think that okay, so actually what I want to do, so let's look at like the top teams in terms of salary cap and just like see even if it makes sense from an A/B fit or not, because what you were saying before is completely true, where not every team is going to want him, first of all, even though you would think, you know, in a vacuum every team should want him, but that's not going to be the case given his history and how he's basically trying to get himself out of Pittsburgh right now. And not every team has the money. So let's start with the money and then we'll work back from there. Top 5 teams with the most money going into the 2019 season: Indy, New York Jets, Buffalo, Cleveland, Oakland. Any fits there you see?
I mean, this is probably me more than anything. I mean, obviously the Jets jump off the page because that's what we talked about with Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah, I think Oakland too.
That's what I was going to say. The one that really gets to me, and it just proves how fucking stupid I think John Gruden is, that he's willing to trade for a probably declining, cancerous Antonio Brown, and he just gave away a young, up-and-coming, Super Bowl fucking contending maker, Khalil Mack. Like, that dude's a fucking moron, because I know he's going to go after Antonio Brown, who is the worst kind of NFL player. And he's not only that, but he's not in his prime like Khalil Mack. It's just, he's awful, man. And he's going to go after Antonio Brown.
As we've stated on this show in previous episodes, that Oakland cares about 2020 when they're going to be in Vegas. Mm-hmm. And signing someone like Lev Bell or Antonio Brown creates this aura about the team that I think that people like John Gruden and Mark Davis especially would be very interested in.
Yeah.
So I think the Jets are a key in this big market. I think he'd play there for sure, and they obviously have the money. I think Cleveland would not be considering. We kind of mentioned that briefly, just because of the young core. I agree with that 100%. But even if they would, I don't know that John Dorsey would truly think that that's something that's a long-term like positive.
Yeah, I
don't think that he would think that.
I think both of those are true. I don't think the Steelers would do it, and I don't think the Browns would do it.
And then Buffalo, what about Buffalo?
No.
It's like they have no receivers, but honestly, I don't even think Antonio Brown would agree to play at Buffalo.
Yeah, he wouldn't.
And then Indy is a really interesting one. They have the most money going into next year, $121 million. They have an amazing core already. They're in the playoffs. They have a great number 1 receiver, but not great outside of that. And can you imagine if you put Antonio Brown on that Andrew Luck team with T.Y. Hilton?
You know what I just thought about? Could you imagine?
Irsay's crazy.
Oh, Irsay's crazy. That's why I'm about to bring this up. Could you imagine putting Lev Bell and Antonio Brown on the Colts team this year?
And they might.
They could. They easily could.
Yeah,
They
with
have the money to
121 million.
they have the
Yeah,
money
they
to do
definitely
it.
do.
They don't have to trade any assets for Bell. They just have to
Wow.
trade. They could have both of them.
And that
And
would be so crazy.
and a way better quarterback than Ben Roethlisberger's ever been.
I wouldn't go that far, but
Well, go that far.
no,
You love Ben. You
that's
love
that's a completely biased take by you.
no way.
But if they acquired Lev Bell, Antonio Brown, they had T.Y. Hilton, Luck, the current defense that they have in place, the current offensive line that they have in place, where do you think their odds are to win the Super Bowl?
I mean, they'd be the favorite going into the next year.
The favorite?
Because one, I think the Colts will make a little run. They might not get to the Super Bowl, but I think they're going to at least win this weekend. And I think Andrew Luck is solidifying, like, hey, dudes, I'm exactly what everybody thought I was going to be coming out of college. I'm one of the 5 best quarterbacks in this league. If you give me weapons, I will be elite. And yeah,
Antonio, I think he's already been elite in his career, but he's just like, obviously he had the injuries, and now he's proving again like he's over the injuries. He's back to Andrew Luck. You know what I mean? And he finally has an offensive line now too.
Mm-hmm.
Which is obviously,
I would put them right at the top, especially.
No, they would be at the top. I just don't know. That was why I posed the question, because I don't know if they would be the number one in terms of odds, but they for sure are going to be in the top 3 or something if they acquire both of those 2 offensive players in the offseason.
Yeah, and just think about, I mean, how willingly you would give away your first this year and your first next year if you're them and you know you're signing Lev Bell and you just essentially use your 2 first-round draft picks and, fucking X amount of dollars to get Bell and Brown in your offseason. Yeah, like, you'd be so willing to get rid of those picks.
Yeah. All right. Let me read you off the next 5 teams. We'll just talk about the top 10. So that would be Houston, Seattle, Arizona, San Fran, Dallas. Any fits there, you think?
I mean, San Fran's, obviously, I think Jerry Jones would be interested, but now that they have Cooper, I think they might be out of the mix. They might just draft a receiver mid-round. Yeah. But
what do you think about Seattle?
I don't know, man. I think that,
because I think they have a pretty good structure in place that they'd be able to take on a personality like that with Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll, and they have enough money and they're lacking a receiver.
You know what I think, though? Good point, all of that, but I think Pete Carroll's done playing that game. I think Pete Carroll's done with.
He's definitely messed around with it quite a bit.
Yeah, I think he's done with the characters. He's done with the attitudes. I mean, look at even like the young dudes they've gotten. The Griffin brothers are like 2 of the most stand-up guys in the NFL. Russell Wilson's obviously your favorite player ever and a really nice guy. I just think that he's done with that. That whole Legion of Boom, everything kind of blew up in his face at the end of that, and I think he's done taking chances on people. I think he's looking for more Andrew Lucks and Russell Wilsons than anything else.
Yeah, I don't think AB would play for Arizona, and Houston I don't think should be interested. Need him. Yeah, I don't think they should be interested. Their receiving core is good as is. Mm-hmm. So in the top 10, I think it's like Indy, Jets, Oakland, Seattle, maybe, and San Fran.
I think San Fran's in that list for sure.
San Fran for sure belongs on the list. They've shown that they're willing to take character issue guys with Reuben Foster, and
Pierre Garcon had one of those issues, I think, too.
And they definitely are trying to build, give Garoppolo some weapons. So I definitely think that they could be interested.
Yeah, I could see Seattle or San Francisco happening, but yeah, I mean, that's only a few suitors, and it's the typical, like, at least in my opinion, the top 2 are still the Jets and the Raiders. As much as that Colts and all that money sitting there, I don't know.
I think the Colts are a real contender.
So would you put them number 1?
I honestly probably think the Jets would be number 1 because they would be willing to offer the most money, I think, maybe. But I think I would put Indy over Oakland.
So that's fine. But what I was going to say is, like, you have to look at that list without the numbers because they'll have enough money that doesn't matter.
Correct.
They could all sign him to the biggest deal.
Yeah. So you almost have to think of like who's willing to take on $20 million for a receiver.
Right.
And like I think all 3 of those teams would be. I just think that like Oakland's doing it to make a splash.
Jets are always.
Jets would be doing it to make a splash. Indy would be doing it to actually like win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And like Antonio Brown, if it was up to him, I would think he'd be the most interested in that. But who knows with him? Who knows?
Oh, dude,
I think he's most interested in who would give him the most money. But in a trade, his contract's already the same, so I don't think he'd be getting a new contract. You know, I mean, eventually he would be, but like he still has a year or so left on that contract, so it wouldn't be like he's getting a pay raise. I wouldn't think.
I mean, it could be a trade and restructure thing where they give him a 3-year extension, and then like the team who's going to give him the best and longest extension guaranteed. That's where he goes. I would not. If it was Madden and you were talking about, oh, this character likes to be in a winning culture. This character likes the sunshine. Dude, he to me, does not give a fuck about winning. I don't think that's the deal.
I think naturally, if you're a competitor, you care a little bit about winning.
Dude, if you cared enough.
He just doesn't care about winning like he cares about money. But
yeah, and he obviously doesn't care that much, dude, because he's leaving the winning place. Like, you know that fucking show, The Good Place?
About their demise, dude. It's going downhill fast with them.
That's fine. Oh, you think
he knows as soon as Roethlisberger retires, he's donezo.
Yeah. I don't know.
And he's starting to get he's like starting to honestly, like, people are giving Juju so much love. He's like starting to get like past a little bit. I feel like from a young up and coming guy, like I feel like there's many reasons that he is starting to want out of Pittsburgh.
Well, people were saying that was one of the reasons why this all happened was when as soon as they named Juju offensive MVP, he was just like over the top pissed off.
Yeah.
Which, dude, fuck this guy.
Okay, so the episode is starting to come to a close here. Our timer should be going off very, very shortly. But what do you think? Let's just bring it all home with this. Going into 2019, rank the odds of the 4 teams in the AFC North that will be given to win the AFC North. Who has the best odds to the worst?
Baltimore, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati.
Pittsburgh number 3.
Yeah.
And that's with AB on the team?
I don't think it matters, to be honest with you.
Doesn't matter either way. AB or no AB, they're still third.
They're not going to be so I said earlier before we started the show, I think the Browns over-under is going to be around 9.5. I would think 8.5 would be the lowest it could be. If it's 7.5, bet the house. Bet the house. Bet your fucking
I could
wife,
see it being around everything.
8. If it's 7.5 and they have to go 500, which they should have fucking. Oh, before we go, one more question. This is still Browns, but I wrote this down. I wanted to ask you. We've talked a bunch of times about how this season could have been. The beginning of the year, if we started Baker, if we made a couple kicks, if the Oakland refs didn't fuck us. Here's one scenario. I want you to tell me if it changes anything. The whole Tyrod and Baker thing still plays out. Tyrod still plays the first 2.5 games, whatever. Baker comes in, blah, blah, blah. Those first 3 games, Joe Thomas starts at left tackle. Do we win one of those games?
Okay, so Baker's in a quarterback. Joe Thomas is at left tackle?
Nope. Everything happens the same except Joe Thomas plays the first 3 weeks of the season.
Oh, but Hugh Jackson was there, though?
Everything is the same. We just had, instead of the carousel at the beginning of the year, Joe was there at left tackle.
I don't really think left tackle was the issue at the beginning of the year. I mean, Desmond Harrison wasn't great, but I don't think he was like terrible either. So I actually don't know that would have created that much of a difference. I mean, if you play that Saints and Steelers game, the first 2 games, 10 times, like with the exact same teams, that is going to turn out so different every time. So I just don't know that it would be like because you substituted Joe Thomas for Desmond Harrison.
Right.
But yeah, like they definitely could have won because if you just play that game with everything as is the next time, they could have won. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It came down to a couple kicks.
Yeah, it's crazy all the variables you could pull out of those games, like different referee crew, different kicker, different quarterback, different coach. All of those things, you just pluck one or like you're just like, oh, the Browns would have won. The
most important piece to this puzzle that you could replace would have just been Hugh Jackson. That's it. Just replace Hugh Jackson with Greg Williams, and we probably win at least one, if not both of those first 2 games.
All right, so not knowing how the results of the Ravens playoff games, let's set some way, way too early over-under on wins for the division. What do you think Pittsburgh's over-under for win will be?
The over-unders?
Yep. I think Pittsburgh's going to be 7.5. I think the Ravens are going to be, I think they're going to be 9.5. I think the Browns will be 8.5, and Cincinnati will be, they might be awful, 5.5.
So
we'll talk definitely next time about how easy that Brown schedule is.
Yeah, the Browns schedule is super easy. We'll definitely get into that episode 9. I think the Browns over-under is going to be 8. I think that the Ravens...
Like 8.5 or 8?
8.
So they're going to give you a push for no reason?
Oh, wait, are they always halves?
I mean, yeah, they should be, because you're either winning 7 or you're winning 8, you know?
I don't know. I feel like you see whole numbers sometimes on those. I just feel like 8 is the better one for setting the over-under, because then it makes you choose 9 or 7.
Yeah.
And I think that that's like a more of a better decision, at least that you would want, that Vegas would want people to be making. But yeah, so I would say 8. Ravens is going to be higher. It's going to be 9, and then Steelers is going to be, I think the Steelers could fluctuate based on who's on that team. I think Antonio Brown could literally sway that like a whole game if he's on the team or not. But let's say I think Antonio Brown will be on the team. I think that will be around where the Browns are. That'll be like 8 as well. And then the Bengals honestly could be 5.
Yeah, that's what I said.
4.5 maybe even.
Yeah, they're going to be awful. Yeah, I can't wait. I heard the ding for the oven. We'll definitely talk Brown schedule next week, because it is something to be excited about going into next year. As far as how hard this one was and how difficult some of these games, and playing the Chargers and the Chiefs and the Saints, and obviously we play the Steelers and the Ravens twice.
It's night and day from this year versus next year. It's
going to be so exciting.
Nuts.
And we get and the fun thing too is, even looking at it, Baker is going to play. If I'm not wrong, he's going to play every quarterback in his class next year. We play the Bills, we play the Jets, we play Lamar Jackson, and we play Rosen. We play Arizona. Yep.
That's awesome.
We'll play all of those first-round quarterbacks next year. Baker have that to play. It's awesome.
Baker will beat Rosen, Darnold, and Allen, and he'll beat Baltimore once. So he's going to go 4-1 in those 5 games.
I think so as well. All right, you want to send us out, dude?
Yeah, it's been a wild ride with all these animals on the episode 8 of the Asshole Podcasserole. Everybody, make sure you follow us on Twitter at AWholePod, at Potty Piper, at Jesse the Potty. Lots of good stuff coming out in the Twitterverse. Catch us on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. Hey, if you like what you hear, let us know, because we want to keep this thing rolling, and we want you guys to be a part of the ride with us. So
rolling.
Be there, be square, Asshole Podcasserole. We out.